Coach, your defense down the stretch was so clutch, 7 stops in the last 8 possessions. What went into that?
Well, one of the things we've talked about is trying to get better defensively as the game goes on. Obviously, Ja is such a terrific player. I thought really as much as anything, Mike Conley, he was unbelievable. Just his quickness, his presence on the ball. And then the next thing is we started rebounding. We were giving up some loose ball rebounds, some long rebounds. I don't think there were possessions where we were quite tough enough to come up with rebounds. And we were really to close possessions. And I thought that really made the difference on the defensive end.
Eric Walden, Salt Lake Tribune.
When you guys went down 2 and then you followed up by reeling off that 12-0 run, what did you tell your team in that moment to kind of get them settled and get things, going back in your favor again?
I think we've talked about it for a while, and there's going to be swings in games, and particularly playoff games. Sometimes it's a shorter span of 6-7 minutes. Sometimes it's a quarter. Sometimes it's a game. I think, you can't get too high or too low emotionally, and you got to just keep focusing on execution. And that's really what we try to do. I thought offensively, we got spaced, we simplified a little bit, and, Donovan and Mike in particular, we're able to attack. The other thing, Boyan really steadied us throughout the game. I thought his baskets during a stretch where we weren't getting stops, kind of stopped the bleeding, so to speak. But, we've got an unselfish group, and guys kind of hung in there, and we talk a lot about closing, and we were able to do that tonight. And it was the whole group.
Sarah Todd, Deseret News next.
When you talk about those closing minutes and what you're able to see from Donovan, how much of that is a mental game, especially on the road?
Well, for him, having not played in a while, I don't think he's thinking about that. I think he's such a competitor, and he's thinking about winning. And, when you have a guy that has that much belief in himself, that much belief in his teammates, and that competitive fire, he's going to make some things happen. And he's not going to be successful in every possession, but he's not going to be deterred either. And his emotion is something that our whole group feeds off of. And I thought, like I said, I think Mike defensively down the stretch, was terrific as well. So those guys were able to kind of pick their spots together. And that's been really important for us, where no one has to carry the load on their own. But we know when Donovan's got the ball late that, he's gonna make a play.
Last question, Ben Anderson, KSLSports.com.
Ja still had 28 points, but it seemed like it was more difficult for him than it was in game 2. What did you see differently?
Well, the transition opportunities that presented themselves in game 2 were something that, we really talked about. Giving up layups and easy baskets, gets guys going. I thought we did a much better job of not fouling, showing our hands in certain situations. And that was really important. And then I guess the other thing, I thought we had more of a presence protecting the paint with our bigs. I think we still need to be better with some of their penetration, both with Ja and also with Dylan. But you're not going to, they're great players, and they're going to get where they want to go. And like I said, sometimes they're going to make some tough shots, but when they miss, that's where we've really got to make sure that we're better, not giving them second chance points. A lot of those rebounds end up getting kicked out for threes, but those guys are hard to guard, and they're really good, and we just got to keep competing. And, I think judging it more by kind of the process and what we're doing defensively, and seeing the film, and, trying to execute as opposed to looking, at a stat line. A great player can have a huge night, and he had a huge night the other night, but I didn't feel like, we executed as well. We could, you can execute great, and he can still have a big night because he's that good a player. But, you know, I thought collectively we were more conscious.
All right, that's all the time we have. Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thank you.